You know, in life, you have a lot of firsts. Your first word, your first step, your first haircut, first love, first breakup. Today, I'm gonna tell you guys a little story about one of my firsts. And that was actually last night. I went to a strip club for the first time in my life. I'm going to be 26 on January 5th, and last night was the first time I've ever gone to a strip club. So basically what happened was I went and hung out with a friend at Twin Peaks after work. We had dinner and then we had like a drink or two, and then we were about to leave and go home, and somehow the discussion of strip clubs came up. I honestly don't even remember how it came up, but I just happened to be like, I've never actually been to a strip club, and her mind was like a little blown. And again, we were still about to leave, and then, I was kind of like, you know what, screw it, you want to go to a strip club right now? And she was like, yeah, let's go. And so next thing I know, we drive to what is probably one of the more sketchy strip clubs in San Antonio. I used to work with someone that used to go there like pretty regularly, and so I was like, that's the only one I've ever heard of because he used to talk about it all the time. So I was like, well, let's just go to that one. So we pull up, and yeah, place is sketchy on the outside, like you can tell. Like, I don't know if this is like the kind of place I want to be, but whatever, that's cool. So we pull up, we go in. They have a metal detector there, they have like a bouncer, security guard type person. And it was funny because my friend that I was with had a fanny pack, right? And so they have like the little trays that you put your phone and your keys and whatever you have in the tray so you can go through the metal detector. And so she puts her fanny pack in there, and I think it's like protocol to like search bags and stuff. But he didn't search it. He just asked her, like, what's in the fanny pack? And I was like, oh, that's where she keeps her drugs. And the guy laughed and then just let us in. And I was like, well, there really could have been drugs in there and we would have just gotten away with that. Hilarious. And then the girl working the register, fun fact, had the same first and middle name as me, which was really weird. Both Kayla and Marie. So we kind of had like a little bonding moment with that. And then they said, there's a $10 cover to get in, or if you pay $38 for both of you, you can get a bottle of champagne. And so I was like, oh yeah, let's do that. Let's just get some champagne. We had some nice guy like escort us to a table with the champagne and like sit down and pour our first glasses for us and stuff. And so as I'm walking through the strip club, it's a strip club, yeah, I'm walking through and I'm like looking around and I'm just like, okay, it's not, honestly, it was and wasn't what I was expecting. I'm used to, honestly, the only strip clubs I've ever actually been in have been in video games, particularly like the Grand Theft Auto series. So when I was going in my head, like the only thing I had to go off of was like, I was thinking about like GTA 5 and like the strip clubs there, which it wasn't actually that different. Like it kind of aligned, but the place didn't look like the strip clubs there. It was smaller. There wasn't like a main, I mean there was a main stage, but I couldn't tell what the main stage was because there was like a few different, and it was kind of weird. They had like huge inflatable like Christmas decorations up all over the place, so it kind of had this like almost kiddish feeling because of these huge inflatable like Santas and like a teddy bear that like hugs, and like it's really weird. And then there's just a half naked women in front of them pole dancing, and I was like so confused but like intrigued, and I was like, I don't know if I want to come back to this, but I'm glad I'm doing it just to try something new out of my comfort zone. Not that I'm suggesting that you guys go run off to a strip club. If you don't want to, you don't have to. I just feel like it's a unique experience if you're interested, but that's not for everybody. It was weird because there's like couples there, there's single people, a lot of single guys there obviously, but like I was surprised to see like women in there with their boyfriends and stuff, and I'm like, I guess different people like different things, and I was just intrigued. I don't judge people. I'm just very intrigued by people, and I always want to learn more. That's just the kind of person I am. Like, as soon as I see someone doing something that to me seems strange, I instantly like gravitate towards them, and I'm like, tell me more about this, because I just love learning different like relationship dynamics, different things that people are into, and like things like that. It's kind of weird, but not really. Like, I always end up in like that part of YouTube where it's like really, to most people, like unusual things, but I'm just like so intrigued by it. Maybe by default, being a mental health technician, that's just kind of like with the territory. Like I've pretty much seen and heard almost everything, and so I'm always looking for something new to like spark like, ooh, that's new, that's interesting, I haven't seen that before. But also I think I'm just like very open-minded and very curious, and I just would like to hear stories and learn things and hear about people's lives, and like it's so crazy how people, like, how differently people can choose to live their lives. And anyway, I am on a tangent right now. So I'm sitting there in the strip club, drinking my champagne with my friend. Mind you, I ended up looking up the champagne and it was like a $5 champagne. So we definitely were overcharged if we paid $38 as opposed to $20 to get in there and get the bottle of champagne. It's a scam, and I wish I knew better before I walked in, but that's okay. Anyway, so you could definitely tell the champagne was cheap as you were drinking it. And mind you, I had just eaten a huge dinner as well, so I don't think I realized right away, but the champagne wasn't really mixing well because before that I'd also drank some rum and bourbon. And so I was mixing champagne in with that and chicken and fries and some other stuff. And so it just wasn't really mixing well, but I didn't know this until later. Off the bat, we had this beautiful, gorgeous, like African-American fit woman stripper walk up to us, and she was like, screw it, yeah, I'll talk to you guys. And she like sat down with us, and we were just talking about like, oh yeah, I've never been to a strip club, and like we were talking about significant others, and like she was talking about her girlfriend, and I was talking about my boyfriend, and I have a fuzzy on my shoulder. And at one point she was like, ew, why are you dating a guy? And I was like, because he's hot. And then I showed her pictures, and she was like, okay, I'll give you that one. And yeah, she sat and talked to us for a while, and like I was honestly impressed as a mental health technician to watch how the women work the room and like go and build rapport with everybody. Like they sit and establish a relationship with you first, build trust, you know, deeper connection. You're kind of bonding with like life stories and scenarios and like things that you've been through. And they're really, honestly, like they pretty much do what we do as mental health technicians. And I was very impressed by this. I don't know, a stripper impressed me. But yeah, I just thought it was cool how she was like getting to know us. And then we talked for like probably like 10-15 minutes, and then only at the end she had to like go do something real quick, and then she came back and she was like, hey, so like since we talked and everything and it's your first time being to a strip club, how'd you feel about your first lap dance too? And I was like, don't think I'm ready for that yet. Plus I also didn't have cash on me, and plus I don't even know what the appropriate amount to pay is for a lap dance, but I've heard from people before that they've like gotten a lap dance and been charged like $60 or more before, and I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. Like, she's a nice girl, but one, I'm not really into that, and for two, like, I'm not about to pay $60, so we're good. It would have been interesting to do it, but I was just like, no, I'm good. So anyway, I continue sitting there drinking my champagne, and like at first when I walked in, just the kind of person I am, I'm very like modest, and I don't like to make women feel uncomfortable. Like before that, like I said, we went to Twin Peaks and they literally were wearing like lingerie. Like usually at Twin Peaks they wear like the cutoff t-shirt or whatever. Not t-shirt, but whatever the hell it is. But this time they were literally wearing like lingerie, and I think it was because of Christmas. They were wearing like little red, like left nothing to the imagination. And so like when I was at Twin Peaks, like I don't break eye contact. Like I don't look down. I'm just like, yes, these are your eyes, those are them. I'm not gonna stare at your body because I know everybody else in here is doing that and it's probably annoying, so I'm gonna like actually talk to you like you're a person, because you are. You're a person wearing almost nothing, but I'm still gonna talk to you like a person. And so I had kind of that same mentality when I first went into the strip club. I was like, oh, like I'm not really gonna look at like their bodies, I'm just gonna like admire them for the people that they are. And I felt weird staring at their bodies and things like that. But then, like, I noticed the more I was there, like, the more comfortable I was kind of watching them. But just because, like, they wanted you to, and it was really weird because, like, when you would make eye contact with them, you could see them, like working it more for you. And it was like, I don't know how I feel about this. And then I thought you couldn't touch strippers. This was just, like, what I have heard in movies and TV shows. And I don't know if this is probably true in some places, but, like, the place I went, those strippers were getting touched by everybody. Like, my friend was, like, slapping them on the ass as we were walking by. And there was other guys, like, grabbing their hips and, like, grinding on them. And, like, ugh, and, like, the girls were, like, putting their boobs in the guy's face and their butts in their face. And, like, it was, like, there was a lot of touching going on. Pretty much, like, more or less, people were, like, almost having sex, but, like, with, like, at least a small, like, thin layer of clothes on. Like, obviously the customers weren't naked, but the strippers were, like, pretty much almost naked. And then I found myself getting to a point where I was starting to like admire some of the stuff that they were wearing, and I was like, that's actually really cute, like I like that. And some of them had like really cool shoes that like lit up and stuff, and I was like, that is, you go girl. Like, I mean, I know people talk smack about strippers and stuff, but like honestly, like they are pretty good. At least the ones that were there, they're like pretty good at what they do. Like you could tell the ones that have been doing it for a while, and they're really good at like I said, establishing rapport with people, like getting to know everybody, make them feel comfortable. They're good at dancing. They're just really friendly, and then they have like cute little clothes, and you can tell that they get excited about like probably finding nice things to wear, and they probably get excited about like when they buy like a hot pair of boots or like light up shoes and things like that. And I was like, I can appreciate the art of this. So anyway, so my friend was driving, so I did most of the drinking. I think I drank like 3/4 of the the bottle of champagne. She was like kind of babying it because she knew she had to drive, and I was just like downing it. But I didn't get drunk. I was more drunk at Twin Peaks, and I literally only had like a couple drinks there than I was when I got to the strip club. Like pretty much I sobered up while I was there. No, I did sober up. Like I maybe had the slightest buzz, but I was pretty good by the time we left the strip club. So I mean, that was pretty much it. Just like the usual, like girls on poles, and I mean, it wasn't like a full nude strip club. It was just like topless. And then the girls said that they had to wear pasties, but I was definitely seeing girls without pasties, so I don't really know much about that. But I walked into the boys' bathroom on accident. That was a thing. I had to pee, and if you guys ever have to pee when you're at a strip club, just don't. Like, just go in your pants or something. Like, I much rather would have done that, because first of all, the bathrooms were not clearly labeled, nor were they anywhere near each other. So there was like an ATM machine by the front and like a random hallway, and it looked like the random hallway would have led to like both the men and female bathrooms. Like, it would have split off at the end of the hall, like any other restaurant you go to, how there's like a hall and like 2 doors. So I go past the ATM machine, I go down this hall, and next thing I know, I'm in the men's room, and like I see like a guy like pulling up a zipper looking at me like, oh crap, and I'm just like, whoops, and I like turn around, and I go find the bouncer dude again. I'm like, sir, where's the ladies' room? And so he ends up walking me there. There's been a lot of drugs done in the ladies' room, that's all I'm gonna say. When I walked in there, I was like, ooh, this looks like people come in here and shoot up heroin. So I go in there and I like use the bathroom against my better judgment, and then I like walk out just feeling like I have herpes instantly. I'm just like, oh, I regret using this bathroom. I regret walking in here. And then like there was like obviously strippers and stuff in there too, and it was just like, this is weird. So that was a whole thing. So then we left and I went home, and again, like I wasn't feeling drunk. I came home and I was maybe like a little dehydrated from drinking, but I didn't feel drunk. I went to bed and I woke up an hour later and just had this urge to throw up, which I never puke. I have maybe only puked twice while I was drunk prior to this, and one of them was because I ate a crap ton of candy, like a stupid amount of candy, and then I drank, and it just upset my stomach. And then the other time, I just drank way too much. On this occasion, like last night, I did not feel drunk when I came home, but then after an hour, I woke up, felt like I had to puke. And so I stood up out of bed and I was about to run into the bathroom, but it hit me so hard that I couldn't even walk anymore, and it was already like up. There was nothing I could do. And so I ended up just puking on my floor, like right next to my bed. And it didn't stop there. I puked about 2 more times on my floor, and I was just trying to contain it into like one area so that it would be easier to clean. And so then, like, once I, like, don't feel like I have the sudden urge to go, like, right now, but I know I need to, I run into the bathroom, and I probably threw up, like, 3 more times in my toilet in my bathroom, and it was, like, it was bad, like, coming out my nose, and it was just, oh, it was all champagne and chicken. Like, that was it was so bad. And this was like literally an hour after I went to bed, which it was like 1 a.m. when I threw up. It was like 12 when I got home. So it wasn't like a crazy night. Like I wasn't out till like 2, 3 in the morning getting wasted. Like I literally had like a lot of champagne. Yeah, I had a lot of champagne, but I don't think the alcohol content was high. I think it was just like a cheap champagne that didn't mix well with like the rum and stuff I had earlier, plus the chicken. So yeah, I got like, ooh, like bad, like just threw up like probably like 6 times last night, and then I like cleaned up all my vomit everywhere, and then I crawled back into bed and just like pretty much wished death upon myself. So yeah, that was my first experience at a strip club. And would I go back? I don't know, maybe to a different one. I feel like would be fun, but the one I went to, I don't think I would want to go back in there. It's so weird. Like if I had a lot of money, maybe, but And if I was with my boyfriend, maybe, as weird as that might sound, like, I would be willing to do it with him. But it feels like a weird place to go with friends because there's nothing else to do other than talk and stare at half-naked women, and I just don't know what my stance is on that yet. But it was an interesting experience. That's gonna be it for this video, so I will see you guys next time. Okay, bye!